game's prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as. Look at the shields on the Martin.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take him.
What's up, everybody? We are back. This is Pain User.
And this is HD.
And we have Game 3 between Complexities, Stahlife, and Roxkiss BratOK. Stahlife spawning as our green Terran in the bottom position on Xel'Naga Caverns, and we have BratOK spawning as our yellow Terran at the top position.
Yep.
It's going to be another TVT for you guys, and wow, last game both players going for almost identical builds except for their follow-up to the Blue Flame Hellion build, and BratOK able to come out way ahead on SCVs and just took the game from there.
Nah, not just only the build, he was able to control his SCVs and keep them alive much better than his counterpart Stahlife. And now the series is tied 1-1. Remember, guys, this is the round of 32. Only one player can advance now because this is the final match in this series, and the pressure is on the line. If a player loses, they drop down into the loser's bracket. Not something you want to do right away. And we'll see what happens. This is a small map compared to the last two we've been watching.
Yeah, dropping into the loser's bracket immediately in a tournament is not fun. I've been there before. I've actually dropped down into the loser's bracket after my first game before. Not the best situation to be in. You have so many matches to play, and it's just very grueling down there in the loser's bracket. Very cutthroat. You have no more lives. I mean, you know every game is do or die.
It's like dropping down into a sea of sharks, trying to climb your way out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the players sitting on top in the winning bracket, well, wouldn't they be the sharks? Maybe they're the whales. They can just cruise, smooth sailing.
Well, in poker, whales are known as like the fish or like the bad players, and the sharks are known as the good players. So maybe you're right. It's kind of a switch analogy.
Oh, they use whale and fish? I didn't even know
Well, a
that.
Fish is actually a bad player. A whale is just a rich guy that's a bad player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's like an extra chubby
big fish.
I got you. So we do have a Marine coming out for both players here. They also both have gas, so it looks like we're going to see a factory out of both players, or perhaps some kind of a quick Tech Lab Reaper. I'm not sure exactly which route they will go. We do have one Marine popping out for either player, and it's getting to the point where they will almost have enough gas to drop a factory, and still no Tech Lab from either player.
Yeah, I think both players here are saving up 100 gas for their factory. Resources showing they're now approaching 100 gas apiece, and BratOK is gonna throw down a factory right beside his barracks, and Stahlife also gonna throw down a factory, and both players here gonna go straight into factory mode. What are your predictions on a small map like this as opposed to a big map such as Crevasse?
I mean, on a small map like this, it's just so much more aggressive in the early and mid game. It's much more difficult to take your natural expansion. On a map like Xel'Naga Caverns, especially in TVT, there's only those two main pathways to the left of the Xel'Naga Tower and to the right past the other Xel'Naga Tower, so there's a lot of tank positioning and turf wars, but tanks are just so good on this map, and drops also not nearly as effective as they are on other maps. It's just so easy to cover the different areas of your base. And also sensor towers are great on this
Sentries.
map. Yeah, sentry towers, that's what they need to be. Sensor towers are great on this map just because they cover so much territory. If you get one in the middle of the map, or if you get one at the top portion of your base, it just reveals so much vital territory on a map like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, another reason why I feel like drops aren't nearly as effective is you've got this kind of secret hallway where you can just, rather than dropping, you can run Marines around. Now, a lot of players these days will just kind of block it off, though, with the building or whatnot, and that's what we'd expect to see if this game goes into a mid-late game strategy. Looks like BratOK can immediately go into Starport here, and we're probably going to be seeing some Banshee play. Whether or not he gets Cloak remains to be seen. Doesn't look like he has enough gas. Oh! Getting a Raven first.
Interesting. It looks like he is anticipating that build
Banshee
from Stahlife. Once again, he has gone with that opener every game so far. Will he get Cloak this time? Let's hope for his sake that he does not, because there is already a Raven on the way from BratOK, and it looks like both players going to start to get siege tanks here. BratOK getting a Tech Lab on his factory. I believe it is up. There we go. And we do have tanks on the way for him. So both players going for a very aggressive early game style of play here. I think this Raven is going to be very important. Will the scan catch the Raven? I Oh my goodness. Catches the Raven, so he knows he will not invest that money into Cloak. And now switching the Starport and the Rax.
Yeah, Stall Life right there, kind of getting a lucky break and scanning just at the right time. I mean, if he just scanned 3 seconds earlier, he would have had no idea if it was going to be Cloak Banshees or not, and he would have probably had to invest minerals into an engineering bay and turrets. And that would have not been cost effective at all. But as it stands, he saw the Raven. Now, what can this Raven do in the mid to late game? It obviously has a lot of helpful spells. I think Auto Turret is going to be one of those spells that we might see a lot in this TVT.
Yeah, Auto Turret's so important in Terran versus Terran. You can absorb so many tank hits. I believe they absorb 4 tank hits back to back, and you can position those Auto Turrets so that the first volleys of your enemy tank line go on that Auto Turret, and you can launch an attack behind that.
Yeah.
And you're just able to do so much damage, and those Auto Turrets really great in these small early game battles where both players have a really small number of tanks and Marines. Neither player over, the 5 tank count right now. Neither player over 20 Marines, 10 Marines even. So yeah, Auto Turret's just so effective. Ooh, we do actually have 17 for Stall Life. Stall Life moving out right now. Looks like he wants to accomplish a little bit of action here. He is going to go ahead and push across the map and try and establish position on BratOK's side of the map.
Yeah, this is an interesting push here from Stall Life, and like you said, he does have a lot more Marines than his counterpart, his opponent in the top right-hand corner, the BratOK, almost forgot his name right there. BratOK here, I think he might be in a bit of a tricky spot because he's got all these Vikings. It almost looks like he was prepared for a ton of Banshees, but that's not the case here. Stall Life has a lot of Marines, and, I wonder if Stall Life has enough forces here to just overpower BratOK.
Well, BratOK does have the defensive position of the natural. Stall Life still not taking his natural expansion, so he's going to be way behind on that. And it looks like Complexity Stall Life going for the elevator drop maneuver. He is going to get those first couple units into the main, but these Vikings are going to be able to pick off this Banshee and maybe pick off this medevac. And wow, BratOK moving into position, going to try and fight this off. Has Marines and tanks coming to support, and he may lose his factory here. He might be forced to lift it as well. That's really going to hurt into his tank production.
Yeah, if he loses this factory, this is going to be absolutely brutal. Forced to lift off the factory. That means he canceled his tank that was in production just moments away from finishing. Now Stall Life is actually losing his ground here as BratOK is pushing forward, but Stall Life has that tank on the low ground. So important, and an auto turret coming down for BratOK to help supply some more DPS, but easily taken out. BratOK in a precarious position, quickly repairing his factory. Very smart right there, not allowing it to burn away. And Stall Life now has decided to evacuate, and he's going to leave this tank here to be picked off because he lost his dropship.
I wonder if Stall Life should have pressed that home a little bit harder. Losing that medevac, not the best situation for him.
Yep.
And he is also going to lose that tank in the main. It does go down, so Stall Life falling back to his natural right now. Going to go ahead and try and set up a position there, but he is so far behind in terms of his macro. BratOK dropped that command center quite a bit earlier. He's up by only 1 SV, but he has been mining at the natural this entire time. He will get the 2 bases saturated quicker, and now adding some more infrastructure and production facilities. BratOK going up to 4 Raxes. Yes, he is going up to 4 Raxes and continuing to get those upgrades. Stim just now about to finish for him. Two medevacs on the way, 1 tank on the way, and these medevacs are really going to help strengthen his army for this next engagement.
One thing I'm noticing here is Stall Life is not getting Stim research. He's actually got shields before Stim, and he does have another tech lab, so he could get Stim right now. He has enough minerals and gas. I think this is going to hinder him a little bit because without Stim, his Marines will not be able to move forward and snipe tanks quickly and effectively. This could be kind of bad because BratOK looks like he's moving out right now, and he does have Stim. Whether or not BratOK is moving out just to secure a gold or to actually push it home remains to be seen.
He will more than likely try and take that gold. I think he's working on the rocks right now. Yes, he is going to take out those rocks to the gold, and then we'll probably try and push and expand at the same time. We also have a drop from him going around the far right-hand side of the map. Going to try and sneak in through the bottom through John's common knowledge hallway and hopefully get some of those Marines into the natural and kill some SCVs. Neither player really had a huge advantage or disadvantage.
Nope.
Relatively even in the harvester count, and BratOK just being extra thorough, dropping that that supply depot in the back there, gonna scout for any kind of drop shenanigans, and we have an engineering bay in position to possibly detect this scout, and we have Stall into the tower right now. He's not gonna be able to do it.
And Stall Life is, yeah, he's gonna have to fall back, Pain. There's tanks already set up here, and of course those Vikings are providing that cover fire, which means this dropship is completely vulnerable. Now in the bottom corner, BratOK was about to go attack, but a SCV, an engineering bay wall, makes it so the Marines cannot go through that direction. Great placement right here. We were talking about this before, Pain. Those buildings so crucial, protecting the back, which is very vulnerable. Those SCVs at the natural, and now Stall Life looks like he's gonna try to secure the third over here, which is not the gold. Or maybe he's just gonna, I don't know. We'll see where he decides to land that next orbital.
Well, the third command center for BratOK is already done. He is taking the gold as we speak. So the onus is going to be on Complexity Stall Life to make something happen here. He is pushing up the left-hand side of the map. He is trying to take a position on this gold expansion. BratOK 100% ready for this. Tanks in position. He has full air superiority. He also has this Raven, and Stall Life checking to see if he can get anything done around at the third over there, but he actually picked the wrong spot. There is no command center there. It is up and running at the gold, and he is heavily mining, and every second this game goes on, and oh, look at the confidence from BratOK, building a third orbital, not even going to get the planetary fortress there, and honestly in TVT, not the most essential, necessary unit. Marines and tanks both ranged. Don't really want to use your Marines to deal with the PF, but tanks are more than capable of handling it.
Yeah, BratOK showing confidence here, and he's going to go for that orbital. Now Stall Life trying to take the low ground so he can siege the mineral line. I love this play by Stall Life, but once he runs out of scan, he's not going to have anything to scan to see the high ground, and his tanks now in the dark. They cannot shoot up there because it is in the fog of war. BratOK, like you said, he has air superiority, man. He's got the Vikings, he's got the Raven. What can Stall Life do except waste scan after scan, although he is picking off several SCVs?
Yeah, he is indeed, and he's stopping mining at the third for quite a bit. He needs to continue to tank walk on the low ground and the high ground at the same time. As he does this, he'll be choking BratOK back and back, farther and farther behind that orbital, and if he can take out some of these tanks on the defensive line here, he'll be in a great position, but still, nonetheless, BratOK is mining a little bit from that gold. It's not a total loss. He is continuing to mule there, so he is reaping the benefits of that gold, while Stall Life is just scrambling to get some damage done here, but unable to find any chinks in the armor of BratOK.
Yeah, well, this entire time he's been basically delaying for this command center to finish. He was building this in the main, and now he's finally finished it so he can get some mining and some saturation going at the gold expansion. But I can't help but wonder, by allowing his opponent to mine this entire time, has he fallen behind? It looks like we have an exchange here. Stall Life losing control here and loses a dropship as well as some Marines to those defensive Marines from BratOK. And Stall Life here looks like he's gonna push it forward with several tanks and Marines, but he has nothing to counter the Vikings. BratOK with air superiority once again, dropping an auto turret there in no man's land, gets blown apart immediately, trying to use Splash to take out some of his tanks.
I don't think that those auto turrets were close enough to the tanks. However, it was about 1 or 2 units away. Not going to kill it with splash damage just from that. Wasting a little bit of energy on the Raven right there, but not a big deal. And we do have several tanks for Stall Life. He is very good about even keeping his tank count up while in a deficit. It's so impressive that he's managed to stay on par with BratOK while he had the gases at the gold going for so long. Just having that extra gas income alone should have allowed him to just skyrocket in terms of tank production, but you know, you got to hand it to Stall Life, keeping things even and making a game out of this.
Yeah, Stall Life, I mean, I thought for sure he was behind because he allowed BratOK to mine that gold for several, well, maybe not minutes, but about a minute more than he did. But as it stands, you're right. Stall Life was able to rebuild his tank line very quickly and very effectively. And I would argue maybe Stall Life has more tanks right now. He's got about 3 less tanks than his opponent BratOK, so he doesn't have more tanks, but he has good position right here, although BratOK is starting to shell those tanks away. And over at the top left, Stall Life with his massive Marine move out here, this is the Chinese infantry, is gonna be my God!
Oh. Didn't hold position on his Marines right there, just moved straight into the tanks, and wow, losing a big portion of his army. And that turret, so well placed by BratOK, is gonna pick off one of those medevacs immediately, and BratOK just slowly dwindling Stallife's army without even really doing anything. The turret picking off a medevac, the Marines running into the tanks, and now BratOK with a pretty sizable advantage in terms of army.
Yeah, he's shooting himself in the leg here, is he not?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And able to pick off 2 more tanks right there at the third. So Stalllife just forced to use so many of his Marines here to try and engage and get something done, but he's not going to be able to do so without the proper tank support.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his Marines almost seem like they have a mind of his own, walking where they shouldn't be going. Whoever is commanding these Marines needs to be fired. And we can see the supply differential now because of what's happened, because of Stalllife basically shooting himself in the leg. He is now down by a good hefty 30 supply, and that is a lot in any matchup. Stalllife now trying to set up some kind of position. BratOK and Stalllife both exchanging scans, but the tanks just barely outside of each other's range. And, you know, Payne, it looks like Stalllife is going to try to do some kind of a secret back way attack here.
Yeah, he might be trying to sneak in through the back and siege out the
Oh, nice unsiege right there.
Very nice unsiege. Actually, as the mule was falling, so impressive right there from Stalllife. And he is going to be moving in the back, but there is a scan going down from BratOK right on top of his army. So he is going to be able to converge on Stallife's entire force here. He's coming from both sides. There's a huge flank. He's just now starting to siege tanks. And oh my God, Stallife's entire sneak attack mission. Those Navy SEALs who valiantly offered to go on the nighttime raid are dead. Gone. 0 damage done. That was a majority of his army. This counter push from BratOK is going to be devastating.
I wish you guys could see my face right now. My jaw just hit the floor. Seriously, that was a beautifully orchestrated double pincer maneuver by BratOK. Having the army supply of Stalllife now. Stalllife has nothing, and he is about to lose this game simply because of that maneuver. I mean, what a brilliant pincer maneuver, and nothing that Stalllife could do about that. Once you commit through this hallway, I mean, it has great rewards, but it carries high risk.
Absolutely, Alex. And back to what I said earlier about siege tanks being so good on this map, you see how pivotal they are. Look at both players playing for zone control right now, trying to kill as many siege tanks as possible. And oh, these Vikings, since the beginning of the game, have allowed BratOK to have air supremacy for the entirety of this game, and that has really helped him out in so many situations. And now it looks like he is going to try for some sort of a final push on the gold here, or at least he's prepping for it. Hasn't committed to anything yet, just content to continually move around, maneuver around the left Xel'Naga tower. Doesn't want to lose all of his tanks with some silly kind of all-in maneuver into that PF, but oh my goodness, that is so many siege tanks, and he is running them in now.
He's going in, man. I think he's going to try to take this game home right now, right here. He's pushing in with all of his Marines, doing so much damage. Stalllife is losing everything in the middle of the field. He only has 1 siege tank left, and that gets taken down by a handful of Marines down on the ground. Now even I don't know where this command center came from. I suppose Stalllife was trying to secure a 4th, but that is going to be canceled. BratOK is rolling in with his, as you call it, the Panzer division of tanks, and he is out for blood, and he is going to take this series, I do believe.
BratOK not really sure what he wants to do with his Panzer army, finally locking in on this planetary fortress, and that planetary fortress is going to get mass repaired, but these tanks are in such a great position, and we do have some Marines running up, valiantly sacrificing their lives, trying to take out a few tanks with them, but it's not going to be enough, and we do have a drop going off at the natural third of Stalllife that's going to kill a bunch of SCVs and take out that orbital, and oh my goodness, there are so many tanks shelling away at this gold right now. Stalllife is going to run out of money soon. Oh my God, can he hold on to the PF? And no, the reinforcements from BratOK coming in, and it looks like he's going to head straight for the production facilities.
Yeah, oh my God, Stalllife is spending so much money to repair this planetary. Finally decides to GG. We have a great finish and a great conclusion to an awesome series. What a freaking game, man.
Yeah, so well played by BratOK. That scan in the top left, so money. Must have just had a hunch that units were coming around the side. Didn't really see any units on the map except for that siege tank line at the PF. Had to wonder what was going on, had to wonder what StarLife was up to, and had a perfect read right there. Just absolutely amazing game sense. So yeah, BratOK able to come back from an 0-1 deficit, and that's actually something very rare in a best of 3 series. When you lose that first game, so much momentum goes with your opponent, and it's just really hard to recover.
Not just momentum, but also confidence as well. And looking back at this game, the VIP moment, the turning point, really. Even though I feel like StarLife was kind of behind the whole time, I think the pivotal moment, the pincer, the pincer, exactly.
Absolutely,
yes,
pincer right there, able to seal the deal. So congratulations to BratOK. He will be moving on to winners round 2, and good luck to Complexity StarLife in the losers bracket. And if you guys enjoyed those games, make sure to check out more IPL content at www.ign.com/IPL. Also, check out our social media in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And if you guys want those hot links, be sure and go to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and JustinTV.com/IGN Pro League. If you guys enjoyed those casts, be sure and check out me and HD at www.twitter.com/PainUser and youtube.com/StrapBunker.
And you guys can find me at youtube.com/HDStarcraft. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Much appreciation here from the IPL. And please stay tuned for more games to come. This is HD and PainUser, both signing out.